Today, let's have a conversation about self-confidence, self-esteem, and overall worthiness. So, very often during my work with clients, this subject comes up. I want to improve my self-confidence. I want to feel better about myself. Let's look at it together and let's see how the dog is chasing its own tail in this desire to improve self-confidence. If we are not confident, what does that mean? What we are not confident in? Basically, we create an image in ourselves and then we don't like the image we created. Yes? Basically, we don't like the illusion that we surrounded ourselves with. Because as human beings, we are not that or that or that or that. We are potential of everything. We are a combination of characteristics of a personality that exists on top of the universal mind that is ultimately connected with everything and everybody. So basically, we are all of it. We are not just some of it, we are all of it. Each individual contains the wholeness of the existence. Now, we imagine ourselves to be very limited. And then we bought into, in some way, the idea that this particular partial being, this limited being, has these specific characteristics. And in comparison, any limited characteristic will always fail. In comparison with other beings and other forms and other stories of a person, there always will be another story that from over here is always greener. That's the nature of being in this body, being an ego. The green over there is greener than mine. Always, no matter how you rebuild yourself, how you change, how you improve, there will be always grass that's greener over there. So there is no end of chasing and striving and achieving. There is no end to that. So self-confidence does not depend on your external package, external events, external environments, your accomplishments, your achievements. It doesn't depend on how much money you make. It doesn't depend on how much lovers you have, or how much one single lover loves you, or the greatest house, the greatest charisma. I mean, whatever you take, all is the common partial story of a human being. So it's not that you need to build up your confidence. You don't become confident by building up confidence. Is you need to remove absence of self-confidence by removing the illusion that you build around yourself. Because the illusion is such, I'm not good enough, but there's something I can do to be better. Or there is someone who is better. There is a comparison going on, always. Endless comparison, endless. There is no single individual who believes themselves to be a limited being, who is satisfied with their presence in this world. And I can assure you, no matter how you feel about yourself, there are people who feel exactly like that, even if they have 100 times more money than you made, 100 times bigger business than you build, 100 more lovers they meet per month, per year. I mean, I don't know what your criteria and metrics are for your perfect state in which you would have confidence about yourself, if it's based on externalities. And you can work on becoming more confident through different techniques and methods and reframes. But the only way you really can comprehend it ultimately and permanently is by understanding that you cannot build up self-confidence. You can remove of absence of confidence. You can remove your default state of low self-esteem, lowered, from your natural state. There is nothing to add to your confidence. If you know who you are, the universal whole being, where everything is potential and possibility, no matter what personal characteristics you have, what genes you have, none of it matters. No, it doesn't matter what body you have, what family you grew up in, how much you know and how much you don't, how much you have done. None of it matters. What truly matters is understanding, and ideally this understanding through experience, that you're not limited by this little body of yours. When you truly have the experience of it, to which you can derive through different practices, but that's what you would be going after. You don't go after self-confidence, you go after understanding of yourself. You go after understanding of your ultimate nature, your connectivity with everything. Then you don't need any practices and reframes to build up confidence. You don't need affirmations, you don't need NLP, you don't need any of it, because there is nothing to change when understanding is changed. When you comprehended the wholeness which you are, beyond what you perceive yourself to be as a personality, as a persona, as an ego, as embodiment. Because the body is not all you are. And if you doubt it, go and have the experience in which you will see undisputably. You get the experience that will remove all your doubts that you are not this body. Through meditation, through a lot of different practices, I can help you with that. If you want to find out, I can help you find out. Or go out then and experiment to remove the perception from center, I am this. Remove that perception from individual being to perception that is not centered over here. I know that it sounds strange. Unless you have experience, the words kind of don't matter. So it's catch-22. You understand the words when you have experience. So what I advocate is stop hunting for self-confidence. Hunt for the ultimate experience of who you are. What is it I am? This is the ultimate question. What I am? What am I? Who am I? But it's usually not who, it's what more than who. And we're stuck in who. If you have the experience where the body is only a suggestion, almost, I don't know if I can say it like that, but don't try to build self-confidence. Try to remove illusions that dropped your self-worthiness, because ultimately by default you're worth as much as any other being on this planet and beyond. And by being, I don't mean just humans, any being. So there is nothing to evaluate whether you're worthy or not. There is nothing to evaluate. Life is as is, and it's just happening, and we are happening, and so that's what it is. Life is just flowing, and we are manifestation of it. That's just the truth of it. Then there's individual mind or individualized mind that try to compare and assess. And that's where the trouble starts. All troubles start right there. Comparison. And the interesting thing, you compare your perception of yourself with other perceptions, because you don't compare with real people and real life. Because if you would know that they do just that. They're unhappy in their own skin, in their own bodies, and they're already looking for grass that's greener out there, right? So you're not comparing with reality. It's not reality compared with reality. You compare a story with the story. So none of it exists. It's just all going on here. Remove those thoughts, those voices. Squeeze yourself between all of that. In the quietness of the being, instead of noise of the mind that will always create story and will be always dissatisfied with those stories. Remove all that and find who you truly are. When you know it, you will never need any exercises or practices for self-confidence. Because there is nothing to be confident about or not confident about. You know that life is flowing and you have nothing to do with it practically. Well, to some degree. But then becomes irrelevant. The story is just a story and the assessment becomes irrelevant. You just then following, some like to say, I follow the bliss. Or you follow the joy, or you follow your creativity, and you just, whatever doing needs to happen, it will be happening and happening through you, through your body, through your engagement in this world and its activities and society. It will be happening, but you don't need to go round and round and round trying to think about yourself, thoughts that are repetitive and they have nothing to do with reality. They're just structures, mental structures, constructs. So you are creating constructs with something that doesn't exist in a way, because it's just a story. You can change a story anytime, so any construct can be different. It can be built like this or like this or like this. So what you build in confidence about which out of all these stories? You pick one story and then you build self-confidence? Doesn't make sense. I mean, it looks like it does, because the entire notions and all this self-improvement industry build on, let's boost your self-confidence. No, let's help you to understand who you are. Let's help you to see who you really are. Comprehend this life within you. Comprehend who you are not. Understand what you're not. Learn to unlearn. And then you don't need to practice self-confidence, because there is nothing to be confident about or not confident about. Nothing to evaluate, only something to witness and enjoy and feel grateful for this life that we have. Life that was somehow magically landed itself in this body and took this particular form this time. So my invitation, keep looking into the depth of yourself. Don't deal with the shallow facade level changes. I improve that, I boost my confidence there, I think better about myself here and feel better about me. Nobody cares how you feel about yourself, and you shouldn't. It doesn't matter how you feel about yourself, because what you feel about is about the story of yourself, not about actually yourself, because the self always feels the same. Expansive, clear, clean, bliss, love, you can say all those words, but it just feels this expansive, unlimited, spacious. That's what you really feel about yourself when you know yourself. All other feelings are contracted feelings about the story of yourself, very often story that is not complementary for some strange reason. It's always comparative story that in comparison with some other story is not as attractive. So drop the stories, land in your sense of self, in the core of yourself. And if you cannot do it yourself, reach out. I'll be very happy to help you. Or keep experimenting and derive to it on your own, but do it. Stop chasing your tail. The happiness, the joy, the fulfillment, it's not there. With that, I'm sending to you a lot of love, and we will meet again soon. Till next time. Much love.